Welcome all of you to today's section. In the yesterday section, we have already seen how the LU decomposition of a square metric will help us in evaluating the solution for a system of linear equations. Okay. So, but just let me just recall what we have done yesterday again. So generally the LU decomposition, though it can be defined for a rectangular matrices also, but mostly it will be done only for the square matrices. But the similar generalization can be given for the rectangular matrices also. Okay, that anyway, that is some out of the context. So yeah, so taking a square metric of order n, the LU decomposition actually means it factors the given metric as a product of a lower triangular metric and an upper triangular metric. Product of a lower triangular metric and upper triangular metric. Okay, that one you understood in the yesterday section itself. But let us see some facts about this LU decomposition or LU factorization, whatever it is, whatever you are interested to call it. So the LU decomposition, first thing, for a given square metric, the LU decomposition may not exist. It is not that every decomposition, every square metric will have LU decomposition. It is not necessarily it should have. Okay. For example, you consider this metric 0, 2, 1, minus 1, 2 by 2 metric. Okay, 2 by 2 metric. This is our A. Now, what about this one? Whether LU decomposition exists?
No, sir.
Whether the LU decomposition exists? Okay. Suppose if you write L11, 0, L21, L22, and U11, U12, 0, U21. Okay, in this case, what will happen? L11 times U11 is equal to 0. L11 times U11 is equal to 0, which means what will happen? Either this has to be 0 or this has to be 0. Either the first term has to be 0 or the first term in the upper triangular matrix has to be 0. Okay. Okay. So either it has to be 0, in whatever the case it is, in whatever the situation it is, what will happen to the determinant of the right hand side? Determinant of the right hand side, determinant of two matrices, product of two matrices is actually product of the determinants, determinant of the lower triangular metric and the determinant of the upper triangular metric. But finding a determinant for triangular matrices is easy. It is just the product of the principal diagonal entries. Suppose assume that in the lower triangular metric this became 0 because of this one. Now the determinant of the lower triangular matrix is 0, and hence the product is also the determinant of the product of the matrix is also 0. But what will happen? What is the determinant on the right hand side? The given metric. The determinant for the right hand side is non-zero number. It is a non-singular metric. Okay, so it can be given as an example that the LU decomposition may not exist for every metric. Okay, for this metric, LU decomposition does not exist in its own form, in the present form, as it is. It is not exist. But so how to get rid of this kind of situations? But as we have already seen, LU decomposition gives a very flexible way to find the solution, which is once you have the LU decomposition, it is a matter of doing the forward substitution and the backward substitution. That's all. So, is there any possible way that we can get rid of this kind of situation? Of course, there is a way. That is what we call the interchange of rows. Interchange of rows. That is what we can also call it as permutation of rows. So far up to this point, everything is clear. Anyone have doubts till this point? Please raise your hand if you have any doubts. Oh. Now, to get rid of this kind of situations, there is a technique, there is a method. That is what we need to do. We need to interchange of the rows. That is what we call the permutation of the rows. What is the permutation of the rows? For example, for the same metric, if you do the interchange of rows, there are only 2 rows. If you want to do interchange, the only thing is R1 replace R1 interchanges with R2. So finally, what is the metric? What is the metric? 1 minus 1, 0, 2. This is what you will get it. Right? So now let us see whether for this the LU decomposition exists. Remember, let me tell you, if we assume this is the given metric A, then this is not the given metric A. This is the metric P times A, where P is a non-singular metric. What we have used here, that is what we call the interchange of rows. So what is the interchange of rows? R1 interchanges with R2. So that is 1, 0, 1, 1, 0. This is the P. This will interchange the rows R1 with R2. Okay, so this is the PA. So we are not doing the decomposition for the given metric as it is, but we are finding the decomposition for the metric which is obtained by interchanging the rows. Remember that. Okay, so now which is equal to what? Is it possible? Can anyone? First thing is what we need to do. Of course, as if you can easily see, 1, 0, 0, 1. This is a lower triangular metric, and 1, minus 1, 0, 2. This is an upper triangular metric. Identity metric itself is the lower triangular metric, whereas the given metric itself is the upper triangular metric. So the LU decomposition is possible. In the previous case, the LU decomposition is not possible. Okay. So to get rid of this kind of situations where there is a metric for which we cannot do the LU decomposition, then what we can do, we can always do interchange of rows so that the resultant metric will definitely have a LU decomposition. But this we will not call it as LU decomposition, but we will call it as LUP decomposition, which represents lower triangular, upper triangular. P means here permutation metric. Permutation metric here in this case, permutation metric means only interchange of rows. Permutation of rows. Suppose if the problem is with the 3 by 3 metric, then anyone R2 may need to be maybe interchanged with R1, or R1 R3 should be needs to be interchanged. All the possibilities might be there. Okay, so everything can be done here. So the main thing is the LU decomposition may not exist, but what will happen? The LUP decomposition always exists for a given system of for a given metric. LUP decomposition. Okay. With the partial pivoting means we are not making the orthogonal entry, the entries of the S1. Of course, here it came 1. That is particular case. Okay. Now, suppose assume that the LU decomposition exists. Is it unique? Suppose assume that the LU decomposition exists for a metric. Whether is it unique? It is not unique. It is not unique in general. For example, you consider this metric 1, 0, 0, and some lambda, any lambda, or y lambda. Let us go for precise one, 2. Okay. 2. So what will happen? Whether this is a metric, okay, practically actually we don't need to decompose it this one, it is a diagonal metric. But theoretically speaking, whether the LU decomposition exists or whether if it is exist, whether it is unique or not, that is what we are discussing here. Here, as you can see that the LU decomposition is not unique, as it can be written as 1 0 0 2 by 3 times 1 0 0 3. Not only 3. In fact, this can also be written as I times A, or it can also be written as A times I. Suppose if you assume this is the metric A, it can be written as in this format, where I is already lower triangular metric, A is already in upper triangular metric. Similarly, here also, it can be given as a trivial example that even if the LU decomposition exists for a given metric, it is not unique. So now how to get rid of this one? If it is not unique, the basic idea is what is the basic idea? The basic idea is not to do everything manually. The basic idea is to write an algorithm for this LU decomposition so that we can sit, relax, and we can give the task to the system, computer, with the help of the coding. Okay, but as you know it already, that the coding procedure needs to be very accurate. There should not be two outputs. When you are doing something and you are utilizing it, there should be only unique thing should be there. So how to get rid of this kind of things? But LU decomposition is not unique. So there is also a we can also get rid of this one by considering either the lower triangular metric, either L is an unit lower triangular metric or U is an upper triangular metric, any one of them. We will impose any one of the lower triangular metric or upper triangular metric consists all the diagonal elements as 1. Unit lower triangular metric means a lower triangular metric in which all the diagonal entries are 1. Okay, so there are two ways. If you consider L as the unit lower triangular metric and U as simply an upper triangular metric, or there is another way, if L is a lower triangular metric but U is an upper triangular metric. There are two different methods are there now. So the respective methods, as you can see on the screen. Okay, Doolittle method and the Kautz method. Okay, so far everything is clear. If you have any doubts, please ask. Is it clear to everyone? Yes, Abhishek.
So if the determinant of the matrix is 0, then also the LU decomposition will exist?
Yes. That so will come. Yeah,
okay.
It will exist, but with some additional conditions.
Okay, sir.
But there are situations where the LU decomposition exists.
Okay, sir.
So here, now there is another decomposition is also there for a metric where the many metric can be given can be decomposed in LDU format, where L stands for lower triangular, not only lower triangular. L stands for unit lower triangular, U stands for unit upper triangular, D stands for a diagonal metric. Okay. So if it is possible to decompose, if it is possible to factorize a given metric in this format, product of a lower triangular, unit lower triangular, diagonal, and unit upper triangular metric, that is what we call the LDU decomposition. That is what we call the LDU decomposition. But LDU decomposition is not very much tough. Once you have the LU decomposition, then LDU decomposition is not at all tough. Within one step, we can write it. So the basic idea is to get the LU decomposition. From the LU decomposition, we can also write what is called LDU decomposition. How to write practically we will see while solving some exercises. Okay. So, for example, in suppose if you have an LDU decomposition, the advantage of LDU decomposition is if you have LDU decomposition, whatever the suppose if it is called the Doolittle method, will multiply the D and U, so which will be an upper triangular metric, but L is a unit lower triangular metric. But if you want the Crowd's method, what we can do, we will multiply the unit lower triangular and diagonal so that it will give only lower triangular only it will give. It will not give the unit lower triangular. But U will be unit upper triangular as it is mentioned in the above. Okay. So these are the various methods, the various factorization methods. Okay. Now let us come to the question of existence and uniqueness. What are the factorizations we have discussed? Okay, whether it is exist or not. Okay. So for any square metric, first admits LUP or PLU factorization. That is what we have discussed now. Suppose if the given metric it is not possible to factorize the given metric in the LU form, then what you can do, you can always interchange the rows so that the resultant metric will have LU factorization. Since you are doing a permutation of the rows, that is why here LUP factorization, P additional thing came here. So it is always possible. LU decomposition may not be possible, but LUP decomposition is always possible. Not only that, here the LUP decomposition is not unique. Why? Because suppose you have a metric for which LU decomposition is not there. LU decomposition is not there. Okay. Then in that scenarios, then what we need to do? We need to interchange the rows. In the 2x2 case, we have only one option. R1 interchanges with R2, but in here R2, R3 may be interchanged, one option. R1, R3 may be interchanged, one option, and R1, R2 may also be interchanged according to the convenience. Okay. So there are three different ways to interchange the rows. So which means that we may have to multiply with the P1 or P2 or P3, three different non-singular permutation matrices, and hence in each case we will get a different factorization, LU decomposition. Okay, so in the this is the reason that LUP factorization is not unique. Okay, and the next thing. Now let us come into the actual question that mainly we are interested in the LU factorization. Okay, suppose assume that A is a non-singular metric. The determinant of A is a non-zero. A must exist. Okay, then it is not that every non-singular metric LU decomposition exists. As you can see in the first example itself. In the first example, what is the A? What is the determinant of A? Determinant of A is -2, which is a non-singular metric, but still it does not have the LU decomposition. So invertibility does not imply that existence of LU factorization. We need something more. What is that? Suppose assume that A is a non-singular metric, and then A admits LU decomposition if and only if all its leading principal minors are non-zero. You need to understand it. So with the help of this statement, with the help of this statement, without evaluating what is the lower triangular and what is the upper triangular, you can assure, we can give the assurance, or you can give the non-assurance whether the LU factorization exists for a given metric or not. What is that? All its leading principal minus. Minus you understood. Principal minus you understood. What is leading principal minus? Leading, suppose, assume that this is the square metric. Leading principal minus. Minus means determinants of a square submatrix of a given metric, right? So leading principal minus means first you need to take the square submatrix of order 1 by 1 by considering the first row and first column. That is this element itself. So this element itself, what is the determinant of 1 by 1 metric? The element itself, right? So this element should be non-zero. Okay. And the next one, what is the next second principal leading minor? 2 by 2, considering first 2 rows and first 2 columns. Okay. Now we will get a 2 by 2 square metric. Now this will have a determinant, and it should the determinant of this metric also should be non-zero. And the next one, 3 by 3. First 3 columns, first 3 rows, we will get a 3 by 3 metric, and the determinant of this one also should be a non-zero. We are not worrying about what is happening to the determinant of the other square submatrices, other minors. We are not worrying about what we should worry about. We should worry about the leading principal minors. Okay. So in the general what we can do it here. So the first thing that is A11 should not be 0, and then A11, A12, A21, A22. Determinant of this one also should be non-zero. And 3 by 3, order 3. A11, A12, A13, and so on. A31, A32, A33. This also should be non-zero. Hence, it should continue. It should continue till n. Till n. N it is not required. Why? Because n is already taken as a non-singular metric up to n minus 1. Okay. So that is what this is the statement which gives us the assurance of existence of LU factorization for the given metric as it is, without permutation, without doing the partial pivoting, without doing the permutation of the rows. With the permutation of the rows, it will always exist. There is no doubt about it. With the permutation of the matrix, always exists.
Space allocation committee
After this.
10,
11.
11.
Okay. So solving now. Yeah. So that is about the assurance. Now, okay. The third statement actually settles for all the non-singular matrices. See, if A is a non-singular metric, even if you interchange the rows, then again it is a non-singular metric. Okay. So the permutation is also covered there. And for all the non-singular matrices, statement 3 covers. Whether it is LU factorization or LUP factorization. Now the question is about, as one of your batchmate asked, what about the non-singular matrices? What about the non-singular matrices? Okay. Even for, it is not necessary that a non-singular metric will have an LU or LDU factorization. But if it has, then it will be unique. But if it has, then it will be U. Okay. So that is about the existence and uniqueness. Do not mix LDU factorization is different, LUP factorization is different, and LU factorization is different. Okay. Whether so far any doubts? If you have any doubts, please ask. Okay. Okay, right. Now the next thing. Now, as we have already seen yesterday, in fact, we have solved also one exercise, that is solving a square system of linear equations using the LU decomposition. What is the method we need to follow it? First, we need to take the quotient metric, and let us, if there is any possibility, first let us factorize the quotient metric in the LU form without permuting the rows, without interchanging the rows. Without interchanging the rows means the given metric is possible to factorize as it is. Okay, without interchange of any rows, without any partial pivoting. So here in this case, what we will be having? We will be directly having A is equal to L into U. Then what we need to do? L into U. Okay, obtain here, substitute here, substitute here. So and then first you assume that U times X is equal to Y, where Y is a new set of variables. Okay. Now first solve the system. L into Y is equal to B by the forward substitution method. So and get a solution for this system and represent that is with Y naught maybe. And once you evaluate the Y naught, then you go back to the step one. UX is equal to Y naught. Now U is an upper triangular metric here. So by the help of the backward substitution method, you find the solution for X. Okay. So that is one way. That is one way to find the solution for a system of linear equation using the LU factorization method when without permuting the rows. Okay. Now, but as we have already discussed, without permuting the rows, without interchange of the rows, it is not always possible to decompose the given metric in the LU form. But what it is always possible? What is always possible? LUP decomposition is always possible with the permuting the rows. So in this case, suppose if it is necessary to do the permuting, then what we need to evaluate? We need to first find out the interchange of rows. So PA times X is equal to P times B. Now this will become the system of linear equations where B is a permutation metric, which basically interchanges the rows, or that is, they are nothing but the equations. We need to multiply on both the sides. Then now PA can be given LU form. So now what you need to do? Substitute PA is equal to L into U in the system. This is what you will. This is what we will get. Again the same thing. First assume that UX is equal to Y. Substitute here. So you will get a lower triangular system in the variable Y. Okay. Now we need to find out the solution for this lower triangular system with the help of the forward substitution method and assume that the solution is Y naught. And with the help of this Y naught and the assumption UX is equal to Y, we can find out the solution X. We can find out the solution X with the help of the backward substitution method. This is another. Okay. So it is actually the matter of whether it is a without permuting the rows or with permuting the rows, it is a matter of given metric, we need to find out LU decomposition. Given metric, we need to find out the LU decomposition. Okay, if it is if it is a square metric, and if it is a if it is a square metric for order 2, we have seen. If it is a square metric of order 3 also we have seen. I think yesterday we have seen, right? I think, let me see it. Yeah, yesterday I think we have seen one 3 by 3 case also we have seen the decomposition, and in fact we have solved the system also. We obtained the solution also. The solution is also obtained. Okay, so the exercise is already done. Now let us explore more about what else can be done and what are the different techniques to find the LU decomposition. Okay, so first thing, let me take with the permuting or without the permuting, that we will see depending on the problem. Okay, for example, for example, you take the metric 1 1 1 1 1 1 2 2 5 2 2 5 and then 4 6 8. This is the metric. Okay, now transform this metric to LU decomposition. Okay, then what will have what will be having? First thing, in yesterday we have already seen, right? In the two ways we can do it. In the two ways we can do it. First thing, we can consider the augmented metric and transform this metric in the form of first we can consider the augmented metric. Left side identity metric and the right hand side the given metric itself. With the help of the row operations without pivoting. Remember that, without pivoting and without interchanging. So basically only we need to use the elementary row operation E3 only. E3 only. Okay. So and then converting this metric P to U. A is becoming the upper triangular metric. Then A is nothing but P inverse times U. P inverse will be a lower triangular and U is an upper triangular metric. Okay, and in fact this is the Doolittle method. Why? Because the lower triangular metric will consist all the diagonal entries as 1 in this case. Why? Because we are not using U2 and E1, we are not using it because of this reason. But there is another way is also there, that also we have discussed yesterday. I think what we need to do, we need to monitor. Let us assume this will be the lower triangular metric, and assume that I am using the Doolittle method. So basically what I need to find out, I need to find out 3 scalars. What are 3 entries? Who will give us? The multipliers will give us. What is the first thing we need to do it here? In this one, we need to convert it to an upper triangular metric. We need to make this entry and this entry as 0. So the only thing is left minus 2 times R1 plus R2 replaces R2. So first row does not change. So it becomes 0. This is 0. And this is what? What it will become? Minus 2 plus 2. Minus 2 plus 5. So it is 3. And what about the, so in order to make this entry as 0, what is the multiplier we have used? Minus 2. And what is the, with the change of sign, we have to consider here, that is plus 2. Now, we need to make it as 0. So what we need to consider? Minus 4 times R1 plus R3 replaces R3. Thus, we will get here 0. Here we will get 2. And here we will get 4. So what is the coefficient here? Here the coefficient is 4 here. With the change of sign, that is, It is multiplier is -4, and here you will get 4. Okay, that is also fine. So now what is the problem here? Now what is the next thing we need to do? Next thing we need to do, actually, we need to make this as a 0. We need to make this as 0, this into as 0. With the help of what? With the help of what? With the help of the second with the help of the second pivot entry. But that is already 0, so we cannot make it. You know why we cannot make it? You know why we can anyone answer to this question? We have already explained. I have already explained in the existence and uniqueness. Can anyone give the reason that? So now you are not able to make this as an upper triangular metric. So which means that the LU decomposition is not possible for the metric as it is. But before evaluating the LU decomposition, can anyone see the LU decomposition for this metric will not exist in the without pivoting? What is
Sir,
the
second
reason?
leading
Anyone gives the answer?
minor is 0, sir.
Can anyone give the answer?
The elements are 0, then it won't be like its inverse won't be this thing.
Sorry, repeat again.
So for an upper triangle matrix or lower triangle matrix, if the diagonal elements are not 0, then determinant will be like if it's 0, then determinant will be this thing. So we can't find the inverse. Like it won't be unique.
May not be the proper justification. But anyway, in the existence and uniqueness, what we have seen the leading principal minus should be non-zero. This one is non-zero. Fine. What about the minor? Second, this one. What about this minor? What about this one?
0, sir.
That is a 0. Am I right? So the second leading principal minor is 0. Hence, the LU decomposition is not possible in its present form. Then what we need to do? We need to do something called interchange of rows, the permutation of the rows. What is the permutation of rows? Here, basically, the permutation of rows, you can do it, that is R3 interchanges with R2. So that is in this case, what will happen here? In this case, what will happen? 1, 0, 0. I'm writing the permutation metric. 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0. This is the permutation. Okay. So if you multiply this metric, then P times A, actually what will become 1, 1, 1. 1, 1, 1 and 4, 6, 8, 4, 6, 8 and 2, 2, 5. 2, 2, 5. Okay. So now for this one, let us see. As you can see it from here itself, first leading principal minor, non-zero. Second leading principal minor, non-zero. The third leading principal minor, if you look at the determinant will be non-zero. And hence, LU decomposition exists for this metric. And for this metric, if you would like to write what is the upper triangular and what is the lower triangular metric, it is very easy to represent. So first thing is 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1. Here the coefficient will be -4 and here the coefficient will be -2. And hence, with the help of the same row operations, this PA will be transformed to 1, 1, 1, 0, 2, 4, 0, 0. And what about this one? 3. Now, with the help of only these two operations, we obtained the upper triangular metric U, and hence it is 0. Hence, it is 0, and this is nothing but the lower triangular metric. As you can check on your own that L in times U is actually L times U is actually, it is not equal, it is not equal to A, it is equal to what? It is equal to P times. It is equal to P times A. So whenever, if there is any situation, if the system is given, system of linear equations given with this coefficient, with this as the coefficient metric, what you need to do, you cannot solve the system of linear equations directly. What you need to do, well, you need to multiply both the sides with the permutation metric here. Permutation metric means with the partial pivoting we are doing it. Okay, so this way we can do it. So for example, let me write it here. So there is a metric we have, and we have the LU decomposition. Let me write it together. So yeah, 1 0 0 minus 4 1 0 minus 2 0 1 times U is 1 1 1 0 2 4 0 0 3. This is what method? This is the Doolittle method. Doolittle method. Why? Because unit lower triangular, and upper triangular metric. But what is the Kautz method says? Suppose if it is asked using the Kautz method solve the system of linear equations, then what you need to do? You need to make the upper triangular metric as the unit upper triangular, and lower triangular can be anything. Okay. So how to do this one? That is very easy. No need to worry. 1 0 0 minus 4 1 0 minus 2 0 1. That is fine. Now here I'm writing here it is a diagonal metric, and then upper triangular metric. So 1 1 1 0 2 4 0 0 3. This is actually what we have. Okay, but now what we want, these 2 and 3 we are expecting, we are interested to make them as 1 and 1. You don't need to do anything actually. Whatever the diagonal entries are there in the upper triangular metric, you write it separately as a diagonal metric. As a diagonal metric. That's all. If you multiply these two, you will get the same thing. You will get the same thing. Okay. So now this is in what? This is in LDU composition. LDU factorization. Now what do you need? What do you need? We want Kautz method. In the Kautz method, what we want? U should be here. You can see in the LDU decomposition, lower triangular metric is unit lower triangular. Upper triangular is unit upper triangular. Okay. If you multiply these two, you will get Doolittle methods, and if you multiply these two, you will get the Kautz method. So far, everything is clear. Or any doubts? If you have any doubts, you are welcome. Ask your doubts if you have anything. I'm not explicitly solving the system of equations. Why? Because yesterday I have already done it. Tomorrow I'm spending the more time to explain the different situations you may come across while solving this kind of problems. Okay, so the same system of equations, whatever you have solved earlier, it can be solved using by decomposition, by factorizing L in the LU form in Doolittle's method, and in the Kautz method also we can solve it. Okay. So that practice you need to do on your own by taking the number of exercises, number of problems from the textbook. You need to do it on your own. Okay, but there is also another way. There is also another way how to write that, sorry, this is 1 0 0 and this is 1 1 1, that is fine. 0 2 0. Yeah, we have done a mistake here. Here it is, it should be divided with the 2, so it should be not 4, it should be 2. It should be 2. Yeah, please note this point here. It should be 2 only, otherwise we will not get it. What we need to do, in this row, whatever 2 is there, you first write the diagonal entries as 1 2 3 as a diagonal metric, and in the every row, suppose here some A is there, you need to divide the entire row with A. That whatever the resultant metric, you need to write it here. Since here it is 2, you need to divide the entire metric with 2. So that is what you need to do it here. And since it is 3, you need to divide the remaining entries are also with the 3. Here it is only 1, so that is why it is there. Okay, yeah, there is a small correction is there. So please correct it yourself. Whether so far everything is clear, or do you have any doubts? Any one of you? Okay. Now let us multiply. Let us evaluate the Crowd's method factorization. What will Crowd's method factorization means? We need to multiply this both, right? So here 1 1 1 0 1 2 0 0 1. Okay, this is fine. Multiply these two. What we will get? 1 itself, and then 0, and then 0. Okay, right? So minus 4. Right, so minus 4 and then 2, right, and then minus 0 0, so and then again it is 0, and then here minus 2 0 0 0, and then here 3. Okay, so this is a unit upper triangular metric, and this is the lower triangular metric. Okay, so the next thing, it is already 11:20. I think we shall stop now. So that is about the LU decomposition and the advantage of LU decomposition. But there is a concept which tells us that how this LU decomposition is efficient in finding the solution for a system of linear equations. Okay, in what sense it is efficient than the Gaussian elimination or Gauss-Jordan elimination process that we will discuss towards the end of the unit. Tomorrow we are going to start something called iterative methods for finding the solution of system of linear equations. Iterative methods, they are called Gauss-Seidel and Gauss-Jacobi methods, and hopefully we will complete both the methods tomorrow with the examples also. Okay, so if you have any doubts, you can be here and you ask your doubts. Otherwise, we'll wind up the section now itself. Thank you all.